our main focus today is reviewing all of the deficiencies that were received during the annual survey last month. Does anybody know how many citations we've got? Anybody want to guess?
Pretty taking 50 to get it right.
How many sheets of paper did you sign here?
Oh yes, and compliments of Jeff and his team. Help yourself to cookies and chips, okay? I'm just gonna keep talking, but feel free to get your son. So there's two parts to the annual survey. The health, we received 12 citations, and then for the life safety, which is kind of physical environment, we received 8. What do you think about that?
Sucks.
Some high numbers. Okay, but the good news is none of it was for care that was provided. Okay? It's all paperwork and then small stuff. Okay, honestly, you didn't get any care, you didn't get any housekeeping, you didn't get any room citations, nothing that related to patient care. So that's great. Great job. You should pat yourself on the back for that. You're doing great as a team and headed in the right direction, okay? So everything you sign is part of our plan of correction, and I'm going to read through, summarize, but I will read through each one so that you know what we're doing with each one, because you need to be aware, because we have to make sure that this does not happen again. If we're cited for the same one again, the level escalates, okay? And at this point, we really can't afford that at this facility, okay? Any questions before I start? If not, you're gonna be dreaming about my voice tonight, okay? So, for the health portion, the first one was pretty much a paper tag for residents coming off of skilled services. We're not receiving the SNF ABN form that was necessary, which is called the Advanced Beneficiary Notice. And that is specifically for certain skilled patients coming off of skilled services. Paper tag, pretty much, okay? That doesn't have anything to do with you specifically. Our plan of correction, we've already implemented that all of the patients that are coming off are being audited and screened to see if they need the form or not, and we'll be issued one, okay? The next one, or anything, you just stop me if you want to add anything. So, I'm sorry, my name's Jeannie, I'm the new administrator, okay? And everybody knows Jessica as Director of Nursing, okay? And new faces, who else do we have? Heather, social worker, so direct everything to Heather, okay?
I'm the new facility firm.
Okay, what's your name?
Tiffany.
Tiffany, Tom,
Sherry?
and Sherry, for
All
AD to win.
returns.
So if you have any questions, just go to Heather and Sherry. Great.
Yep.
All right, so next one we have is notifying the correct resident representative, and if it's a reportable or not, on any bruises or injuries of unknown origin. Does everybody know what that means? Like if you find a bruise on somebody and we have no idea where it came from, let somebody know so that we can investigate. We're gonna see where the bruise is located. Is it like a common area? Does the resident have certain tendencies to warrant that bruise? Or do we need to investigate it for possible abuse? Okay, that's how serious it can get. So it has to be reported so that we can investigate appropriately, okay? Next is providing residents and or their responsible parties upon transfer or discharge out of the facility the appropriate transfer form. So again, that is just a paper documentation tag that we will be auditing to ensure that it's done ongoing. Really no harm, we just have to make sure that the notifications are given correctly, okay? Next is a PASSAR screening. PASSAR screenings are to be done at submission, and some of them just weren't being done correctly, so we have the tools in place now for the pass-our form to be completed, and for auditing. And we'll be reviewing all of these plan of corrections in our QAPI meeting to make sure that all of the quality of care and that the processes are being followed, okay? After that, we have care plans. That was related to one resident, gastrointestinal bleeding, just needed to be added to the care plan, and it was found that it was not added to the care plan, okay? So really just a documentation tag again, that we have an audit in place to make sure ongoing that gets taken care of. Any questions yet? I know, I'm full of fun facts. You can ask questions, okay? What else? We have smokers, residents that smoke. Any of them that require assistance, making sure that we assist them. And we assess them before they begin smoking. For any like new patients or somebody that wants to start smoking, they'll get an assessment done for safety reasons. And then they also lumped in about a resident that needed assistance with transfers, but what we had been doing was not matching what we had been documenting. So there wasn't a fall or anything associated with it, but we need to make sure that we are transferring it correctly per the resident's care plan.
Yep. All transfers, you have to have a gate valve.
All transfers have to have a gate valve.
Yeah, obviously if it's a CIPS stand or a Hoyer or not, but, yeah.
Any questions on that one? Especially nursing, anybody, question-wise? Okay. Next is related to weights, and nutrition. So our registered dietitian obviously reviews any residents that are at risk. So we have audits in place, and we're educating on the importance of getting weights as required and offering and documenting snacks. Okay? Any questions? None of these are new policies. It's just policies they caught us not using. Okay? Next is making sure that we have a registered nurse on a daily basis for a minimum of 8 hours, which we did have, it just wasn't documented. So we got a tag for it. And then they actually split it into two, because whenever we reported on our PBJ monthly, it was reported that we didn't have it, even though we did, but we reported we didn't have it and we're required to have it, so we got 2 tags off of that one, okay? Notification of missed medications. Wanna go over that, Amy?
Yeah, it's just, we got it for actually 2 residents, just documenting them that they're not available, so we're gonna be doing services with the nurses, all on getting them the RX machine and using it to get the meds.
Again, not a new process, we just have to make sure that we're using the resources that we have. Next is QAPI. QAPI was not being performed on a monthly basis, so I will be designating management staff next week to be getting together their departmental information that's needed so that we can review it. Our first meeting is set for the 28th, and that'll include mainly management. And from there, it is reviewing the prior month to ensure we're providing the quality of care and that they're receiving what they need. I mean, QAPI is literally reviewing information to ensure that your processes are happening. So, hence, processes weren't happening because the process tracker wasn't happening, if that makes sense, okay? So we have that back in place. Next is all staff members are gonna have to complete the CMS hand-to-hand dementia training. Has anybody done that before? It's a video, so you're aware of it, ma'am?
Yeah,
Okay?
it's about an hour.
next week. There's really no exceptions at this point. Due to our plan of correction, it has to be completed.
Where can they get the video? Where can they do it?
The videos are going to be saved to our YouTube channel for our facility, and Sherry will be sending out that link so that you can watch them, and then you just have to sign a paper attesting that you watched them.
That's all staff.
All staff. All staff. Did you have a
Yeah, it
question?
should be done upon higher than annually. So we'll have to.
Okay? Did you want to include anything else on your thing? Okay. Life safety is, there was a cabinet, propping open a door, am I correct? Or the cabinet, no, the cabinet didn't have the correct wheels on the bottom for it to function.
We have the wing down here, our COVID wing, the little totes that we have all the protective equipment in, wasn't properly.
There wasn't wheels on one, and
Yeah.
she saw that right away.
So they have to have
So
wheels.
they
You
have.
got rid of it.
Functioning wheels.
So that was corrected the same day, so take it clear, but going forward, we need to make sure that the equipment that we're using is actually certified for use. Okay?
And especially, they're gonna bring up in an emergency, what are you gonna do, you know?
So wheels and this out of wheels.
Has to have wheels.
It's gotta be, yeah,
Gotta be mobile,
gotta be mobile.
because it's gotta get out of the way in case there's an emergency.
Because they're so heavy.
They're so heavy.
Yes. Yes. Next is, there's some stuff in the activities room that they did not like. Blocking an exit, and there was a rubber wedge at propping open one of the doors that's not supposed to be propped open because they are self-closing hardware on them for a reason, because they don't want to be propped open.
So any door that's a fire door should not be propped open, there shouldn't be any obstructions in front of the doors, including
Ever.
residents, any medical carts, any of that stuff on the fire doors and wings. That's not specifically what that tag was for. There's a fire door in the admissions office that was propped open with a regular door stop. No door stop should be in the building for any reason, on any metal door that is considered a fire door, which is basically every door in this building. Alright, so none of that. The other thing she was referring to is down in the 100 wing at the exit, because we do have, you know, a few Wander Guard residents that have gotten by that Wander Guard alarm, and there's no actual door alarm that's functioning on it right now. There's parts on order for it. We decided to barricade that door. We knew going into the inspection that that was a no.
Brian had cleared it that day, and Scott went back and put them there,
So,
he owned up to that.
right. So the bottom line is we don't block exit ramp or any exit to the building or any door for that matter. The other site that we got was in the activities room itself. It was used as a storage unit rather than an activities room, which was more of a fire hazard than anything is what their concern was. We've rectified that by removing the things out of there that didn't or shouldn't have been in there. So just keep that in mind when you guys, we do that in the shower rooms, the spa rooms, you know, it seems to be kind of a dumping area for our extra items that we have. Everything should have an actual home. We just don't pile it in a particular room just because it's in our way. So keep that in mind as well.
Another one was the kitchen hood suppression system, inspection was missing. So we had them come out and complete that. It is to be done every 6 months, so we made sure that that one was completed. That was done on the 14th. There wasn't no malfunction or anything of it. We just were required to get inspections, so we've completed that, all done. Next one is for inspections of the sprinkler system that are done quarterly. There's a 3-year full flow test and air leakage on the dry system, and then a 5-year check for check valves, gauges, and internal pipe condition. So we're waiting on pending confirmation of the scheduled date for them to just come inspect that as well. Okay?
So, yeah, it's coordinated through vendors, it's nothing that we can do in-house for those inspections. So we're kind of at their mercy to getting those and getting them done as we have them scheduled. The one on the Angelwood in there was rescheduled, which put us out of our window, which is why we got the tag for that one, so.
There was an electrical junction box, that was not covered and had loose wires, so they addressed that immediately. But your surveyor still wanted to go ahead and cite it. I think just with the history of the building, they just weren't gonna be super nice on everything, but you did good overall, like I said, no care tags, but they were picking on some other things, okay? That's been taken care of, that was taken care of immediately on that day. Fire drills, were not being, conducted, just timely. So we have, schedules in place for the drills to be happening, for all shifts to ensure that all staff are aware of how to go about the fire in case of emergency. Does anybody have any questions about fire drills? When was the last time we had one? This morning. Yes. And then the last one is inspections of the generator. Anything you wanna add to that one?
That's another one of those scheduled events.
Can't do that in-house, it's a vendor that does it. Yep.
Yeah.
What do y'all think? Anything?
That's a lot less scary than the numbers of cats.
There you go.
So I have a question,
Exactly.
how does an inspection, and the discrepancies that we have in these affect us overall as a business? Is that something that the general public has information on, or
Yes.
affect our
So these
occupancy?
results are posted on the CMS website.
Right,
I usually look them up under Nursing Home Compare, on cms.gov. It does reflect to our star rating as well, because your star rating consists of staffing, health inspections, including life safety, and quality measures, and then overall. So,
does everybody know what we're rated at right now, what star rating we currently have? Anybody know? We're at are we at a 2 now? We're at a 1.
we're at a 1.
Okay, how's that make you feel? Out of 5 stars, we're a 1. Not good. So, it's something that we all need to work on in our own areas and as a team.
It's gonna take a
So-
team to get there.
Yep.
What are
I
things
think-
that we can do to raise it, is it like a gradual thing, or is it something that we need to
Both.
stabilize?
I mean, staffing wise, we're working on, the staffing star rating is based solely on RN coverage. So sometimes it's out of your hands, as long as you have the 8 hours minimum, that is the requirement. But as far as star rating, they want you to have more.
And that's
So
huge.
that is just a going above and beyond to get that star rating increased with more RN coverage. However, you're only required to have 8 hours. So that one kinda, your hands are tied sometimes, because it's not even a regulation to have that many RN hours to be basing it on that. The health inspections, that one will probably get better next year after some of the previous inspections that were way worse will be dropping off, but they stay on there for a certain amount of time. But probably by the end of next year, you'll see that one increase due to the really bad ones dropping off. So it's like Heather said, just because it's a lot of number tags, you did really good overall as far as like no care, no housekeeping, no resident complaints. Okay, and if you think about it, that's really, really good. Really, really good. Okay? So there's a lot of things to still be worked on. Jess, we find stuff every day. But we're gonna be holding more in-services, more training, so everybody can be on the same page and that we can all work together to get our end result of 5-star. Okay, it's doable, it is obtainable. The last star one is, quality measures, and that reflects on the care provided, such as not having, acquired pressure ulcers in-house. You know, that's why we do the turning schedule, so that you're not getting, pressure injuries in-house. It has to do with falls, depending on how severe they are too. It has to do with that. That has to do mainly with the care and the documented care that you're providing. So it entails all of them. Okay? Any questions? Jess, you wanna go over some stuff?
Just with the nurses and
Just
stuff.
with nurses, okay?
I have a few things.
Rick, you got some stuff?
So, two things I want to talk about. We moved the smoking area. Some of you are aware, some of you may not be. Is no longer out in the front, for multiple reasons, safety being the number one reason. Winter coming, icy roads, corners, we don't want anybody getting injured accidentally out there. So the smoking area is relocated out here on the patio. We hung the fire blankets on the wall over there. The smoking aprons are in the corner for now. We're still talking about how we might manage these in the future. There's a fire extinguisher right around the corner from the fire blankets. Those
There's
are all
one
things
on
required.
outside.
Yes, there's also a portable one hanging on the railing out underneath the canopy as well. If you're taking a resident out there to smoke that's supervised, in this environment here, they all need some sort of supervision, especially with the winter months coming on. That doorbell, if they're ringing it and that doorbell fails and we don't hear it, they're trying to get in, they can't, we don't want anybody freezing to death. So let's always be aware of those people taking the smoke breaks. I think going forward, we are going to have a smoking schedule that all smokers are gonna have to comply with. So it's not, a random, somebody saying, I wanna go smoke. They're gonna have to wait till those designated times. So we wanna make sure that we're monitoring, the folks that go in and out there. And if you are going out there with them, don't take the dining room chairs out there with you. We've had this happen a couple of times since we put that canopy out there, and I found a chair left out in the rain. These are not indoor outdoor furniture, so let's please, if you do take one out, bring it back in. All right, I will try to find a chair that we can leave out there if you need a chair to sit down on, if you're gonna be with them while they're smoking, so we don't have to take the ones out of here. Do you have any questions on that? No?
In their smoking material, then no resident in this building can have their smoking material, cigarettes, lighter, anything. We have to hold it.
Right, so I know, Val, for instance, has her own cigarettes, or, she carried multiple ones out, their little bag on there. They're gonna change the standards on that, they're not gonna be able to just keep going back and forth or carry the whole pack with them. Right. The other thing I wanna talk about with winter coming on is parking, okay? First off, the front parking lot, all right, if you're night shift, I'm fine with you parking out there in the front parking lot, but do not park on a canopy for any reason, right? That's for emergency access, right? And emergency vehicles, so that needs to stay clear. You can park out in the lot. For everybody else, you park in the back of the parking lot. On snow days, if we get more than 2 inches of snow, or Tom or I is gonna be out there plowing, all right? We're gonna have that back lot cleared before shift change. So if shift change at 6 o'clock, we're generally gonna have that opened up by then if the snow's happening through the night. Everybody should park in that far lot until we get these other lots cleared out, okay? The only other, as far as everybody else parking up front during the day shift, the DON and the administrator are the only two who have parking spaces out there to park. Everybody else, again, park in the back.
Why is it different for night shift and day shift?
Because there's no visitors usually after a certain time. so the parking's available. During the day, we get a lot, visitors in and out.
Especially
We
with
can't
the
be
snow,
occupying
it'll
the
be
parking
empty back
spaces
there
out
for
there.
them to plow versus there, when they're
Yeah.
not up here, then it switches off.
You just be careful walking, it's gonna get icy.
Yeah, that's
There
it.
are a lot of falls.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, we're gonna try to keep the sidewalks as clear as we, best we can, but, we're not gonna be here 24/7. If it's snowing at 2 o'clock in the morning, an inch of snow is enough to slip and bust your rear end up. Ice is gonna form with the sun, and then freezing in the evening, so just be aware. We had a few falls last winter, I don't wanna see it repeat this year. So, just be aware of that, take your time, walk like a penguin if you have to, get to your car safely. But, just be aware. We'll keep the salt down as best we can. But, other than that, I don't have any more to add.
Alright, any questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Get, grab a cookie.
I've got some things to
Again,
add on
with
to
me
that.
being, with me being the new administrator, I am the abuse coordinator as well, so I just wanna make that clear. Go ahead, Jeff.
A couple things, so that refrigerator that is in the small dining room, that is for resident use only. No employee food should be in there. When I go in there, I will throw it away. No questions, I don't care whose it is, it will be thrown away. There's a sign right on there stating all of that, so.
I mean, the
I
only
see-
fridge that staff should be putting their food in is in the break room.
Is in the break room, correct. And I see, it seems to be the same lunch bag is in there every day. I don't know who's all the lean cuisines and burritos and all this stuff that's up in the freezer. If it belongs to a resident, it needs to be labeled with their name and the date it was put in there. Resident food will be thrown away after 3 days. Any employee food or anything that is not labeled will be thrown away immediately, including the container. I don't care if it's crystal. The state does not allow to have any employee food in that refrigerator. So that's an easy site for them. A lot of facilities I've been in, it gets cited all the time. So we didn't get cited on it this time because I did go in there, but just, know if your lunch is in there, and I go in there at 7 a.m., it's going in the garbage. So, just so you know.
And then too, for fridge temps, right, dietary does all the fridges
Correct.
minus the bedroom temperatures. So then it's just the nurses to make sure that the ones in the fridge, or the two, the big one and the small one are done. Otherwise dietary does the rest of them.
Right, yeah, we just can't get into the bedroom. See, another thing, please don't use the kitchen as a pass-through, as a shortcut. If you're coming in to get food, please come in this door, exit out this door, and if you're returning your plates, put them in the window instead of coming through the kitchen and putting them into the dish room. Hairnets are required in there. I see a lot of people coming in and out, passing through, walking through, saying hi. Just
Don't do it.
just stay out of the kitchen. There is a window there.
Right.
Walk around. Make sure if you are coming in there to get ice, make sure you would have to wash your hands, put on a pair of gloves, and use the ice scoop to get ice. And that includes out of that cooler over there too. It's the same procedure. The thing with wearing a glove, even though you're wearing an ice scoop, if you have a little cut on your hand or in this ice machine, the ice drops down. So when you're scooping, it could release ice. The ice could hit your hand, cut your hand, and the whole thing has to be cleaned up.
And I don't think you would want to drink anybody else's blood either.
Correct.
Unless you're identified.
One other thing, that snack cart that is out there, please don't put dirty dishes and things on there. I find this last week I found quite a few dirty dishes going on that. That's just like a food service area. So we try and keep that clean. So the dirty cups and things do not go on there. Some of it, I know maybe residents just, dropping off and setting it on there, but, just make sure we're trying to keep that clean.
Any questions yet? Sarah, question?
I don't think so, I'm just
Okay.
kind of processing.
All right, anything else? Sherry, Jeff, anything? You want nursing staff or nurses? Stay behind.
Understand, Sandy.
So any nursing staff, please stay behind. The rest of y'all, make sure you